If you have ever opened a Linux system for the first time, you probably saw something like this: slash bin, slash etc, slash user, and honestly, it just feels confusing. Like, why are these names so weird? And why are there so many directories in the first place? But once you see the logic behind them, it actually becomes so simple. Hey, welcome to Tech Circumference, where we break down complex tech into simple ideas. Let's understand this like a story. By the way, if you are new here, please make sure to subscribe for such tech simplification videos. To understand this, let's step back for a second. What do we actually use computers for? At a basic level, just two things: running programs and working with files. And here is the interesting part. In Linux, almost everything is treated as a file: programs, configurations, even devices. So the system needs a clear way to organize all of this. Linux solves this by organizing everything under one starting point. This is called the root directory. Think of it like the base of everything. Every file, every program, every configuration lives somewhere under this one place. Now, here is the easiest way to understand it. Imagine Linux like a house that started small and kept growing over time. In every house, there is usually a place where you keep your most frequently used tools. Things like scissors, tape, screwdrivers, and you don't want to search for them every time. They need to be easily accessible. Linux has something similar. It is called slash bin. This directory contains essential commands like ls to list and cp copy and mv move. These are the tools you use all the time just to interact with the system. In fact, they are so important that system needs them even during startup or recovery. As the system grows, tools alone are not enough. Now you need rules. Things like who can log in, what's the network configuration, which servers and which services are running. Instead of spreading these settings everywhere, Linux keeps them in one place, slash etc. It may sound like a strange name, but over the time, it became the central place for system configuration. You can think of it as the system's rulebook. Then comes personal space. In a house, everyone needs their own room, obviously, right? A place for their belongings, their work, and in fact, their mess. Linux does the same thing with slash home. Every user gets their own directory, so your files stay separate from the system and from other users. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Early computers had very limited storage, so systems often used multiple physical disks. One disk had the core system, just enough to boot and keep things running, and another disk stored most of the software, editors, compilers, utilities, all the heavier stuff. The second disk was mounted at slash user. Over time, slash user became the place where most programs live. So even today, when you run many commands, they are actually coming from somewhere inside slash user. In a way, this was an early solution to scaling: keep the core system small and let everything else grow separately. But systems don't just store software, they generate activity, logs, cache, background jobs, things that keep changing constantly. That's what slash var is for. The names comes from variable because this data is always growing and changing over time. And sometimes programs just need a temporary workspace, a place to create files, process data, and discard it later. That's the slash temp. Think of it as like a scratch pad, useful in the moment but not meant to last forever. Interestingly, modern Linux systems are simplifying this layout. Back then, slash bin and slash user slash bin were separate because they lived on different disks. But today, most systems use a single large disk. So many distributions now merge them together. It's called the user merge. So when you look at the Linux directories today, it might feel confusing at first, but it is not random. It's the result of the decades of evolution. A system that kept growing and organized itself along the way, just like a house that adapts as family grows. And thank you for watching.